What system is this?
You're all here for one purpose. To decide once and for all which of you is the ultimate hero. The battle begins now.
Rorschach's journal appear to have been abducted by alien species to battle fellow costume heroes on their home world.
I refuse to fight for the entertainment of an alien species. Would not be the first time. I'm sorry, Jim.
Spark!
Does anyone else agree to die?
I don't want to die. I want to live.
Fight!
The unexpected.
Adamantium cuts vibranium.
Damn it! I failed fictional chemistry.
Stay.
Oh, you're so lucky you don't have a brother.
Tell me about it. I'm an orphan and a widow. Christmas at my place.
Sup? We're the real Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh no, wait! I'm not an alien, I'm human! I want this helmet to come off! Just my luck. The wrong planet at the wrong time.
So satisfying.
This belongs in a museum. That's why I shoot first. Time to die, replicant. How dare you, sir? Get off my playing field.
I'm coming, Scarlet. Just give me 12 days to get there. I hate bugs.
Puny human. Autobots, roll out.
So, it's down to us then. Please.
Dude, I'm blind.
Beat me up real slow, Scotty. What the hell was this all about?
A hero is only as good as the villain.
¿Qué pasa?
Arise, warrior. The battle is about to begin.
Who's your daddy?
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to The Raging Tomato. I'm bringing to you live a special debate this evening for our May the 4th be with you. I decided, you know, what's going to bring all the nerds together on this evening? And, well, it's going to be comic books, right? So I hope you enjoyed the intro. It's a little bit of everything all mixed into one. But this evening I have the one and only Bruce Wayne, also known as Craig McNeil, from FTFE.
I'm not Bruce Wayne. Oh, no way. I've looked in on the... yeah, ignore what that says. I'm definitely not Bruce Wayne. Oh, no way.
And I also have Ryan the Radical Coder, also known as the Hulk, but is presenting as Shrek this evening. But we're going to let that one pass because you know what? I'm all about it. We're fun. We're nerding out. It's going to be a great time. The question this evening... Oh my God, you guys are killing me. The question this evening is DC versus Marvel. Who would win a crossover war and a culture war between the two? I'm going to allow Batman, the first with your opening statement, please.
Well, it's I had Alfred prepare a statement for me. Okay, guys, let's just stop pretending this is a fair fight, right? If DC and Marvel ever went toe to toe in a no holds barred crossover war, it wouldn't be a battle. It would be a slow, poetic execution. DC would wipe the multiversal floor with Marvel, and they do it with style, philosophy, and a level of cosmic power that makes Marvel heroes look like background NPCs in a cutscene they don't quite understand. Marvel might dominate the box office, but DC is the mythology. Superman's not just a hero, he's a symbol of hope, morality, and the alien within us. Me? Well, I'm the most psychologically layered character in comic history. I'm the guy with no powers who still walks into a room full of gods and tells them what to do. Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Green Lantern, the Justice League, they're literally a pantheon. Each hero a metaphor for the facet of human existence. And then there's Dr. Manhattan. Marvel doesn't have a Manhattan. They don't have a being who is essentially omnipotent, who perceives time non-linearly, whose very existence forces you to ask, what is free will? Dr. Manhattan knows how every crossover would end before it begins. He doesn't just break the fourth wall. He looks at it with indifference while constructing a new universe out of it. Thanos needed a glove full of stones and a speech about balance to pretend to be a god. Manhattan, he's just one. He snaps his fingers, not just to destroy, but because he's already seen the outcome and simply wants to play it out again. And you want to talk iconic? DC characters are the cultural icons. Superman's S is the second most recognized symbol on Earth after the Christian cross. The Joker's the most quoted villain in cinematic history. Batman, well, I'm more successful. I've had more successful renovations than Wolverine's had origin stories. These characters are not just superheroes, they're archetypes. They define what it means to be a hero, a villain, a god, a monster, and a human. Marvel's greatest strength is reliability, but DC gives you aspiration. They show you what it means to be something more in a war between the two. DC wouldn't just win, they'd win while delivering a monologue written by Alan Moore, scored by Hans Zimmer, and narrated by Morgan Freeman, while a single tear rolls down my unblinking eye. So yeah, DC isn't just better, DC is inevitable.
Thank you, Batman, and to you, Hulk.
Thank you. Very happy to be here. I'm really curious what all you comic book freaks are doing in my swamp, but that's something we'll figure out later. So, first of all, I just want to say I'm sorry that Craig couldn't make it tonight. I really appreciate him. I'm glad Batman could show up and take his place. But I do have a lot of work. I have a lot of respect for the work Craig does. He's been out here for years dismantling disinformation with sharp, well-articulated scientific explanations. Whether it's flat Earth or fake physics, he's always fighting for truth, and that matters. And it's why both of us have gone toe-to-toe with bad faith actors on modern-day debate, probably more times than either of us can count, or on many debate panels. Craig's domain is science. Mine tends to be a little bit more on the cultural side, although I am a computer science fan. He'll tackle the moon landing denial, and I'll tackle the idea that feminism is destroying dating. But at the core, we're both standing up for reality, for facts, because facts don't care about your feelings. And tonight, I'm here to correct Batman's feelings-based assertion that DC is somehow better than Marvel. So let's talk about power. In a crossover war, Marvel doesn't flinch. You bring Superman, we bring the Sentry, Bob Reynolds, powered by 1 million exploding suns and unstable enough to actually use it. And if you really want to talk apocalyptic scale, Marvel's got Franklin Richards, literally creating universes before breakfast, and Owen Reese, the Molecule Man, who holds the entire multiverse together in canon. You want to invoke Dr. Manhattan? Marvel's already fought and rewritten those odds. But power on its own isn't the point. That's where DC gets stuck. The real war is the culture war, and that's where Marvel absolutely smashes. See, DC heroes float above the world. Marvel heroes live in it. Peter Parker doesn't just miss rent. He juggles grief, guilt, exams, and the unshakable belief that with great power comes great responsibility. Miss Marvel struggles with identity, not just superpowered, but cultural, spiritual, generational, diasporal. Luke Cage doesn't fight aliens. He fights displacement, developers, cops, real threats with real consequences. You want to know how deep Marvel goes? Let's talk about the most recent Daredevil show. In the latest one, he's up against Wilson Fisk, as always, aka the Kingpin, a violent, narcissistic crime boss who somehow manipulated the system, dodged accountability, and became mayor. Sound familiar? A corrupt, bald, mobbed-up New York figure with a felony record and a talent for authoritarian bluster. That's not subtle. It's deliberate. Kingpin is Donald Trump. And Daredevil's resistance doesn't come from lasers or flight. It comes from community organizing, from building solidarity, from fighting corruption in the courts, the streets, and the press. Marvel doesn't just give you power fantasies, it gives you moral frameworks. And no team embodies that better than the X-Men. For decades, they've stood at the crossroads of every civil rights fight, from anti-mutant hysteria to immigration panic to queer visibility, different writers, different eras, but always the same heartbeat: the right to exist, the right to belong, the right to fight back. The X-Men don't just reflect the marginalized, they reflect the evolution of our justice movements. They're not just metaphors or archetypes, they're mirrors. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. Why is this guy dressed like Shrek? Well, first of all, I'm not. I'm the Incredible Hulk. And you better stop calling me Shrek before I get angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. But also, yeah, I have layers. Because that's what the Hulk is. Rage and reason. Monster and man. A story about living with the chaos inside you without letting it define you. That's why Mark Ruffalo works so well as the Hulk. Because he's lived that tension. He talks about wrestling with his own anger, grief, and trying to make peace with it. Hulk isn't evil, he's human, and Marvel lets him grow, lets him be loved, lets him heal. Batman uses trauma to build tanks and beat up mentally ill patients and lock them up instead of rebuilding mental health care systems or addressing wealth inequality. Marvel doesn't just show us what power looks like, it shows us what we do with it, how it breaks us, how it builds us, how we use it to stand beside the people who need it most. So who wins the crossover war? Marvel, by sheer force of imagination, scale, and storytelling muscle. But who wins the culture war? Marvel again, because they've earned it, because their heroes don't just fly above us, they walk among us and still choose to fight.
Thank you, Hulk. And just a kind reminder, ladies and gentlemen, we will be opening the panel after this throwdown gets finished up. Of course, as always, bonus points and priority to anyone who dresses up or goes all out. You will have first priority to the open panel. Outside of that, gentlemen, I leave the floor open to you.
Oh, sorry, just 1 second. Hello? Yeah, no, I'm not available. Just get one of the Robin. Yeah, no, the new one. He's pretty good. Yeah, he's like a ninja dude. Yeah, no, Gotham Bank's fine. I'm busy. All right, I've got to go. Right. Yeah, all right, Gordon. Bye. Sorry about that. My bad. Some at a bank, some bank in Gotham, and I've trained some children in and given them some combat armor or a leotard. It'll be fine.
Sounds right.
Ryan, is your internet getting shaky or is it just me?
Oh no, I just I altered the Bruce Wayne satellites to disrupt his EMP field. So
yeah, how dare you? I didn't notice, but it might be. Is it better now?
You're just looking a little pixelated. Getting there. Yeah, getting there. Yep, you're good.
No.
Well, no, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. We'll play it out. Anyways, gentlemen, the floor is open.
Yeah, it does feel a little. Oh, okay.
So you think the Sentry could
yeah,
beat Superman? Do you?
Yeah, I think he'd be willing to. I think Superman would try not to kill the Sentry, and Sentry would send him to the Void, and it'd be over. Rewrite reality.
Well, the Sentry tries to control the Void, but see, Superman, yeah, that whole not killing thing, Zack Snyder ruined that. So Superman's got no problem with killing. So what he'd do is he'd fly up Sentry near the sun and snap his neck and just leave him floating off in the distance. Poor little Sentry. Superman, right? He can travel across the entire
universe. I would do that from the Void.
Well, Superman could just get out of the Void. Have you heard of Superman Prime? Superman Prime is so strong, he can punch apart a multiverse. You think that a Void could keep him there? God. That's on a Krypton. No Void's going to keep him still.
I mean, if he is anything like the Zack Snyder Superman, as you say, then he's going to be too busy wallowing in the Void. Honestly, he's not. He's going to be there.
Yeah, all right. He's a bit of a crybaby. Woe is me. I'm the last pure person from my planet, but he's really, really strong. And all you got to do is shout something like Martha, and he gets really upset. Did you say that name?
So just to be clear, you're a billionaire with trauma who spends billions on surveillance tech and beating up mentally ill people in alleyways.
Well, it's therapy. It teaches them that don't screw around in Gotham, and I don't kill them anyway. If I leave them beaten up in a bloody mess in the cold, and then they die later on because of hypothermia, I didn't technically kill them. Okay. Just saying.
I feel like there's some philosophical questions about whether or not you actually killed them there. It might be an open question in philosophy, whether or not you actually killed them.
Yeah, well, I've never technically been charged. So it's all good. It doesn't matter.
Well, that's because you got Commissioner Gordon on the payroll. I mean, you've got all this corruption in Gotham, and you're contributing to it.
Look, I keep Gotham safe.
I mean,
okay?
he was Commissioner Gordon had charges, and you dropped them
because I could. Look, at the end of the day, we're keeping Gotham safe from the scum that just happen to all have mental health issues and could probably be helped with some counseling and therapy and maybe some infrastructure put into the city to stop criminals running. But I am the knight. But yeah, so
I'm
do you have a character? What's the fastest character in your Marvel then? Let's talk about that.
Ooh, like a speedster compared to your Flash, who had really just a fantastic multiverse movie. I'm sure that everyone's raving about still. I mean, honestly, the fastest thing that Flash did was race to the bottom of the box office. Like,
I mean, yeah, you guys are good with the movies. I'll give you that. But you know, Michael Keaton, end of story.
He was in the movie. Yeah, you guys brought him back.
Yeah.
We brought John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic and blew up his head. I mean,
yeah, but who is the fastest? Come on, have you got anyone that you even compare with any of our Flashes?
well, we don't need to. Like, if there, I don't think our speedsters could compete in like a high school race around the track, but we don't need to do that, right? Because we have characters like Franklin
Here, let me tell you a little story about the Flash. There was a group of aliens that wanted to test the speedsters in the universe, and they captured all of them. And they were, if you beat us in a race, we won't destroy your planet. And they were going to destroy Earth, and they captured the Flash. And the Flash said, I can beat you in a race. But these aliens, they can teleport anywhere instantly. And you know what the Flash did? He went faster than instantly and won the race.
That's pretty, I gotta say, that's pretty impressive.
Puppy.
But I mean, if he ran at me, the Incredible Hulk, I would just stand there and he wouldn't even be able to go through me because I'm so strong. And I'd get madder the more he tried to ram into me. So,
well, the Flash has a power called a singularity punch, where he can literally use all of his force into one point. And I saw the Sentry kill you once, so you think the Flash couldn't punch through you?
I was really hoping you hadn't seen that one, but yeah.
Oh, no, I saw the Sentry melt Hulk with his little laser eyes. Don't
yeah, it was pretty embarrassing. I'm sorry about that. Listen, gamma radiation can only do so much. But let's talk about you, Batman, because you do tell gods what to do. But I feel like that's kind of the problem. It's always this top-down lone genius thing. In Marvel, our power is not just about who's strongest. It's about who builds the coalitions. This is why X-Men don't take orders from one guy. They build movements. They debate ideas. They teach the next generation. They don't command.
I mean, apart from Professor X, of course, they take orders from him.
But by like through discussion, through debate, through discourse, through conversation, through community, through community building, they decide.
The Justice League
and they disagree.
Has communication. In fact, I paid for the communication satellites. It cost several billion. But on the Watchtower, we have communication where I go in and I tell them what to do. That's pretty good communication.
Yeah, but you rigged all of that technology to explode on all of them in custom ways that kill them individually whenever you need to. You're a fascist.
Well, just think about it. If you were someone with no powers and you wanted to keep the people with powers in check, what would you do?
Well, you have the power of infinite money, so you could do anything you want, I guess.
Yeah, well,
except
what
for
I
help
do
the
is
poor.
I find out the weaknesses, and I could find out all of the weaknesses of everyone in Marvel.
What's your weakness, Batman?
I don't have a weakness.
Oh. That's convenient.
Batman has no weaknesses. Sorry, Alfred. 2 sugars, please, Alfred. I like sweet tea. Thank you.
Hang on, I'm texting my mom.
Hulk's mom?
Yeah. I'm texting my mom. What, you don't have a mom or dad?
Why would you say that?
Shots fired.
No. Remember that time when you pissed off all of the heroes on your planet? So they stuck you in a spaceship and shot you into space.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But I came back, all right? I came back and I caused the next world war. And with me and my buddies, we showed them who's boss, all right? We showed them not to fuck with the Hulk. They won't do that again, tell you what.
So you then destroyed the world. Yeah, good job, hero.
Yeah, that wasn't very heroic of me, I'll give you that.
So, I mean, look, you guys aren't that good, right, over there, Marvel. All it took was some purple dude with a bunch of shiny rocks, and half of you disappeared.
Yeah, but we brought them all back.
Yeah, and how many problems did that cause? Think about what you did, right? Let's just have a scenario here, okay? So Thanos appears, snap, the universe goes, right? So you've got a family with a wife and a husband, but the husband just disappears. And the wife mourns for a couple of years, but after a couple of years, she meets someone else and moves on. 3 years, 4 years later, they're engaged. After 5 years, they're married. Then you, Banner, come along, snap your big paw, and what do? You now have to have a threesome to deal with. You've now got the husband who's reappeared in that front room and watching his wife in the arms of somebody else. What a good job.
Well, I think that what that really does, and I as the one who snapped and brought them back, I feel some sense of responsibility for saving all those lives as well as putting them back into precarious situations. But all of these people coming into love triangles and things like this, like you described, I mean, these are just radically human things to experience. We all have had situations in our lives where there's three's a crowd in a romantic situation, and we have to deal with that. Those are just human things.
Trying to take that Wonder Woman off of me. She's mine.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Well, wait. I guess that's actually speaking to it, right? Like that's the love triangle, and so you would want stories that analyze those love triangles and with real grounded stakes.
Love triangles. You created devastation. What are you going to tell little Timmy? Daddy's back. You've had a funeral for Daddy.
Would you prefer they stay dead?
Well, maybe for Timmy's mental health. Poor little Timmy.
I mean, well, this is the kind of authoritarian top-down thinking where they decide what family should look like. They need to dictate exactly how the shape of a family needs to be. This is why these fascists over at DC cannot remain in power. No gods, no masters. We are over here at Marvel to bring community against the fascist regime, okay?
Right. Don't you have a bunch of space gods who impregnate planets and kill everybody to make them born? I don't know. That sounds kind of fascist to me.
It is a problem. Okay, we're dealing with the pregnant planets. It's a bit of a, it's probably the most devastating sexually transmitted infection that we have in our universe. These planets.
And when are you going to deal with that Galactus problem going around eating planets?
Well, I'm going to punch him.
You know
but
what
we also have
do?
Franklin
There's
Richards.
A problem with someone eating planets? We call the Green Lantern Corps.
What do you guys do?
Well, I tell the Green Lantern Corps to stop it. I do have a spaceship, and you know what? I'll fly behind the Green Lantern Corps and shout out instructions. Well, then we've got the Red Lantern Corps, the Yellow Lantern Corps, the Blue Lantern Corps, the Purple Lantern Corps, the Pink Lantern Corps, and Larfleeze, but we don't want to call Larfleeze. It's okay.
Well, I mean, first of all, we've defeated Galactus countless times. I mean, it's like the oldest tales.
Oh yeah, I know how you defeated Galactus by turning him into a cloud in the bloody movie.
Well, that was a mistake. All right, but you brought up Green Lantern. Okay, Ryan Reynolds. All right, listen.
I'm sorry, but there was no Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds. Deadpool killed him.
See, this is the problem with DC. They have to constantly wipe the canon every time because they make so many mistakes that they're resetting it every few years. It's a complete factory reset on their entire universe, on their entire multiverse.
Just 2 words: Ultimate Universe. That's exactly what you guys did.
No, we integrated. Okay, we fused the universe. We brought the universes together post Secret Wars. Okay,
yeah. But you had to exactly. You're talking about resetting universes. Secret Wars. What's that? Doctor Doom just takes bits of what he wants, makes a battle planet.
And then Franklin Richards helps us take care of it. We deal with it and we bring back all the people who matter.
I'll tell you what, Dr. Manhattan could teach Franklin Richards a thing or two about creating universes. In fact, Dr. Manhattan, right, because he got bored, wiped out the whole multiverse and made 52 new universes just to see what would happen.
I mean, Franklin Richards, before he hit puberty, had universes in his pocket.
Yeah, well, do you really want a universe that's been in the pocket of a teenager?
Not necessarily.
That's not
but
a universe
I want
I'd
that
want to
power.
be,
Yeah, probably not.
So, if you want to talk about iconic, though, let's look at Wonder Woman, right? Wonder Woman is the pinnacle of feminism, the pinnacle of women have power. She shows that women don't need men around. All you need is to be a half Amazonian god princess, and you're fine. What have you got on your side that can demonstrate that you don't need no man, just magical powers?
Well, we have plenty of empowered women in the Marvel Universe, okay? Scarlet Witch literally trekked the multiverse, destroying teams of Avengers and Illuminati just one by one, popping heads, and including Mr. Fantastic and the other guy that no one remembers the name of from that one team that no one cares about. But so obviously we have empowered women, and again, they're dealing with real trauma. They're dealing with real things.
Are you comparing the all good feminism to Scarlet Witch, who just likes to pop people's heads?
She doesn't just like to pop people's heads. She's empowered to go trek the multiverse to find her children. And yes, she's the villain of the story. But I mean, you got to respect her endurance. You know, you got to respect her commitment to taking care of her children. She's not looking for Vision to help her.
Wonder Woman and the Scarlet Witch. Who do you think's going to tire out first?
I think Scarlet Witch would just wave her hand, and Wonder Woman would, if she's lucky enough to exist, then she's going to be in a pretty tough spot.
Well, before that's happened, Wonder Woman's got her lasso of truth and just throttled the Scarlet Witch. Game over.
You know what Scarlet Witch is going to say
Woman,
when she gets that lasso
she doesn't
of truth?
mind killing.
When she gets that lasso of truth around her, she's going to go, okay, the truth is I'm about to kill you.
Well, yeah, but then Dr. Manhattan just turns up and it's this game over, you know?
Maybe they can both rewrite reality.
In a battle of raw power, there is just no one that can face off against the absolute monstrosity of powers that have been created by DC. Yeah, Marvel might have your little Superman pastiche. You got your Sentry. You've got your Hyperions, but they're not Superman. They can't travel through the universe at billions times the speed of light. They can't move entire planets away from exploding suns. Superman would destroy Sentry without even breaking a sweat.
I don't know if that's true. I feel like Sentry has the ability to make those kinds of things happen if he wanted to, or if the Void wanted to, which of course he has to deal with. But you know,
Superman doesn't have this evil Void inside of him. As long as we ignore the third Superman movie, which made an evil side of him come out, but that's not technically canon.
See, it's so convenient. Everything that could potentially be bad is not technically canon. It doesn't count. This thing doesn't really matter, but it's sure going to matter whenever they're setting up a desperate multiversal move to compete with Multiverse of Madness. They throw Michael Keaton into the Flash. You know, like it's all desperation with DC. That's what DC stands for, Desperation Corps.
How dare you, as Detective Comics? What does Marvel stand for then? Mad at rats eating liver?
It stands for how when you see us, you marvel at our fantastic abilities, our incredible characters, our amazing fantasies.
Amazing fantasies? Is that why Spider-Man has that white goop? All those fantasies?
Sometimes,
what happens if Spider-Man gets excited when he sees Mary Jane? Does it just come out automatically without thinking?
Listen, okay, he's taking medication for that, all right?
Oh my
God. Now, let's talk about the worst characters in the world then. Who's got a worse character than Squirrel Girl?
Whoa, why is Squirrel Girl out here catching strays? What's wrong with Squirrel Girl?
Her power is
you over here preaching about feminism. Now we're shitting on Squirrel Girl?
No, her power.
What's wrong with her power?
It's squirrels. Squirrels.
What do you got against
I
squirrels,
hate
man?
squirrels. They get into the cave all the time. I have to clean this place out. All the poop. I've got enough with the bat guano. When the squirrels get in, it's just messy. I hate squirrels.
These billionaires, they hate nature. They hate the world you live in. When you walk around the park, you see a squirrel and you think, wow, look at that cute little guy. And he thinks, I need to get rid of that thing. What a disgusting creature, that rodent. Like, this is terrible.
I like rodents. I live in a cave and dress as a bat.
Yeah, but you don't, do you like actually hang out with the bats, or are you scared of them?
Ew, no, gross.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, you know, we've got iconic characters like Arm Fall Off Boy. What have you got that can compare with that?
I actually don't know what that one is. What is this character?
Arm Fall Off Boy from the Legion of Superheroes in the future. His power is he can take off his arm and throw it at people.
That's pretty. I don't know if we can compete with that one. I don't know if we have a single character that's quite as silly and unnecessary as
sometimes falls off, but he doesn't mean it to though. He's not very good.
Yeah, that's a tragedy. We have Stilt Man.
What's his powers? He's on stilts.
Stilts, yeah.
You've also got Calendar. Well, no, I've got Calendar Man. Sorry, that's my guy. Ooh.
Can't even keep track of the cannon.
There's
too many of them. I know. But you guys better be worried over there with our old James Gunn bringing out the new movies. It's gonna be great. Better be great.
He keeps saying that. He keeps telling everyone on Twitter how great they're gonna be. I'll believe it when I see it. You know.
What about equipment, like between vehicles and flying things and airplanes?
See that there? That's the Bat Plane Mark 14. All right? At the push of a button, wherever I am in the world, within 3 to 4 minutes, that thing will be with me.
I can't compete with that. I don't have a cool ship. I mean, I like you mentioned earlier, I got sent to a different planet on a ship because
Don't you have a billionaire friend?
I got angry. What's that?
Don't you have a billionaire friend?
Yeah, I mean, he has cool ships, but I don't know if any of them are quite as iconic, you know, as any of our I mean, the helicarriers and stuff, like they're cool. But
I'm pretty sure I know the most iconic vehicle in Marvel. Was it the Thanos copter?
Thanos copter, yeah, that's a part in my brain too. Yeah, that's pretty iconic. I'll give you that. I don't know if the Thanos copter, if we put the Infinity Stones in it, it could go toe to toe with a variant of the Batmobile. That'd be pretty fun.
But Batmobile doesn't need any Infinity Stones.
We have the Fantasticar.
The original Fantasticar that was just like a box.
Yeah, exactly.
A box.
What's wrong with what? You see that like as a bad thing?
What's a box going to do against that, eh? I'll put this box on the floor and wheel spin it over it with my Batmobile. What about your character's layers? How iconic are they? Think about me. We've got Batcave. We've got Superman. He's got his Fortress of Solitude. Oliver Queen. He's got he should have called his place the Quiver. That would have worked instead of the Arrow Cave.
That would have been better.
Yeah. Where's your iconic layers then? Avengers Tower. Ooh, corporate. Ooh, good.
Oh, layers. See, I thought you were saying layers, like which we have tons of layers because I mean, Spider-Man, he's not just the spider character, like he also deals with struggling to pay rent on time, the grief of potential of the responsibility that he bears, and the loss of his Uncle Ben, and so this is the thing. Marvel characters are like onions.
Iron Man is.
What's that?
That shows what a douchebag Iron Man is. Iron Man supposed to be his mentor. Why doesn't he bloody pay his rent for him?
You know, he really should. I agree. But coming from you, that's kind of rich, huh?
Well, what do you mean? I built an entire bloody space station for my guys.
Yeah, for your guys, not for your city.
Well, I can't put my city in space. That they wouldn't let me do that. Now,
you think if Daredevil was a billionaire?
What a douchebag, right? He builds himself a nice big power suit. Why don't you build the rest of the Avengers one of them?
He should. Well, he gave. We used the Hulkbuster. I mean, I got to ride in the Hulkbuster whenever I was having performance issues.
Bruce and his performance issue is always funny. Can't get it up when you want, Bruce. Hey.
Listen, we put the brains and the brawn together. All right.
Yeah, and all good he's done, right?
Yeah, he saved the universe. Yeah, with the snap of his fingers.
Caused problems in the universe. Come on, we've talked about that. And he needed magical stones to do that again. God, there's nothing that Marvel can do that can touch what
he helped invent time travel to do it.
The Flash can do time travel whenever he wants. In fact, he does it and screws up reality quite often.
I mean,
look at me. I transformed from Ben Affleck into Michael Keaton and then George Clooney in one movie.
Yeah, that's exhausting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wish I had more. What is it? Hang on.
I forgot I was muted. What about like the best technology or scientist or something to that degree?
Oh, Reed Richards.
Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, see, even Batman agrees. The best technologist in the multiverse is Mr. Fantastic, the Marvel character from our first family. Yeah, I mean, who can compare?
Mr. Terrific.
How terrific can he really be? If he,
his name's Mr. Terrific, and he's got a T painted on his face. So, I mean, we just have to kind of agree with him, right?
But is he smarter than Reed Richards?
Well, he did create teleportation across the universe, and electronic shields, and he's got his T-spheres that are the most. They're better than my Bat computer. In fact, I'm quite jealous. I've asked him for an upgrade, but he refuses to because he's a bit selfish, really. But his T-spheres are the most powerful computers in existence.
I mean, that's great, and he sounds terrific. And I'll say, like, of all the characters that could compete with Reed Richards, Mr. Terrific's probably certainly one of them. But I mean, like you say, oh, he can teleport across the universe. I mean, Reed Richards discovered multi-dimensional travel. Like multi-universal travel, multiversal travel.
Yeah, and that was a good job, wasn't it? You created bloody Kang the Conqueror.
Well, I mean,
I don't know what I do. I'll invent time travel and how to travel across the multiverse. Oh, great. Now there's an infinite number of these people that want to kill everybody. Good job. You guys just screw everything up and have to fix it. That's what you said. That's what the Flash does. You had your Avengers, Infinity War, and then Endgame. What was that all about? Screwing everything up in Infinity War and having to fix it in Endgame.
It wasn't screwed up by the heroes. They lost the battle. Sometimes heroes lose. That's real. That's why Marvel's real. We can't always depend on the heroes.
What you mean is
coming to save us. Sometimes we need community organizing. We need to get together and fight the villains ourselves.
The who as the hers. That's all I heard.
She was looking kind of dumb with a finger and a thumb and the shape of an L on her forehead.
Yeah, you got people like Tony Stark and that, and that's the best technology you can get. But we have outer space technology, like the technology in the Owen rings that created the Green Lantern Corps.
Well, where did Adam Warlock come from?
A pod, I think. Wasn't he like a clone?
Yeah. Sort of, yeah. I mean, well, at least in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, he was created by a legion of super aliens who had like incredible technology, right? Working alongside the High Evolutionary. So, I mean, we have alien tech.
Yeah, but not as good as ours. I mean, if you want to talk about alien tech and intelligent people, the most intelligent being in the entire universe would clearly be Brainiac.
Brainiac would probably outsmart Reed Richards. I'll give you that one for sure. That would be tough. But I don't know if he could take the Maker though, the variant, the evil variant of Reed Richards.
I mean, we just get Superman Prime to deal with him because again, Superman Prime would just punch multiverses apart. You can just go over to your little part of the multiverse and just gone.
It would be a difficult fight. It'd be a fun fight to watch though. All of these would be. I'd love to see them. I really hope they the movie. If only we didn't have to deal with all these copyrights. If we had some billionaires who could kind of solve these copyright issues, we could actually watch DC and Marvel, go head to head on the big screen. But instead, we've got all this intellectual property that's stuck and under Disney, like Disney, as if Disney came up with Spider-Man, or Warner Brothers invented Batman.
Yeah, well, we don't need to worry about that. I'll just have my lawyers sort it out. To be honest, it'll be fine.
Yeah. As the rich do, they use all this corruption that they take advantage of constantly. They get away with whatever they need to, and the rest of us, the human side, we have to deal with the consequences of their shenanigans.
Not my lawyers, of course. I meant Bruce Wayne's lawyer. I know Bruce Wayne, and I can, I could get his. Because I'm not Bruce Wayne. Just so everybody knows, it would be a. I'm really bad at
Well, everyone knows I'm Bruce Banner. I don't have to hide it. It's already out there, I just deal with it. All right. I'm not over here like shifting around pretending that I'm not who I am. I know who I am, all right? I know who I am. That's my secret cap. I'm always angry.
Well, maybe you should see a therapist.
Probably should. Maybe you should too, Batman.
Oh, I've seen many therapists. They all quit.
I feel like you beat them up.
No, they can't deal with it. I'm quite a depressed person. It's okay.
It's okay.
No.
It's okay, okay, if you want to talk about it. I'm not that kind of doctor, but like I'm here for you.
What was I going to say?
What about what about synthetic versus natural? Like, Superman was born with his powers. And then like Hulk actually had to, like that was a boo-boo that happened. Something along those lines. Or like Iron Man has had to make his creation.
Yeah, our heroes, they go through real struggles that their powers emerge out of, and that's what shapes them into heroes. They're not just born as these gods of divine justice, like these archetypes, these caricatures of what a hero is. Like they're real people who deal with real conflict internally and externally.
Have you met Barry Allen? Yeah.
But again, it's all him. It's all his own. It's all his own time traveling shenanigans, right?
But he did that because of his real life problems. See, Barry Allen, he's in love and he wants to see his mum again, and it's all about his human connections. And he wasn't.
We're all in love.
He got his powers by being really bad at his job and knocking over a shelf during a lightning storm.
We all have regrets. Doesn't mean we're going to destroy the multiverse by time traveling through it over and over again to fix it. Like we have to live with our regrets. Spider-Man isn't. Well, I mean, he tried to change some things in No Way Home, but he ended up fixing it. Okay, by the end of that movie, he teamed up with the other Spider-Man, and he made it work. All right.
Yeah, you need multiple Spider-Man. You only need one Batman. There is only one Batman, and I'm.
There was 3 Batmans in the last Flash movie. And what's wrong with having a bunch of Spider-Man? I mean, the apex of animation, of Western animation was Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. Like these are phenomenal films that like broke new ground in animation technique.
DC is the home of comic book animation. We have the most iconic shows, like the Batman shows with Mark Hamill playing the Joker.
I do like Mark Hamill's Joker.
And obviously you have the best animated show in the world, Teen Titans Go.
I haven't actually watched much of that one. I liked Teen Titans when I was younger, but I mean, we have Spider-Man the animated series, X-Men the animated series, and now X-Men 97. We have.
I did grow up watching X-Men 97. Oh,
yeah, great shows. Have you seen the new the expansion like on Disney Plus now?
Yeah, it was very good. Yeah,
I
get Disney.
I've
got a deal with Bob Iger. It's all.
Yeah, love that.
In fact, I've got a lot of shares in Disney. I mean, not
Yeah, I
me.
bet you
Bruce
do.
Wayne does. Look, Bruce Wayne has
Yeah,
a
I
lot
bet
of
he
shares.
does.
He was telling me about it. It's fine.
Yeah, how are those shares doing with all these tariffs that Kingpin, I mean Trump, is imposing?
Bruce is a little mad that 25% of the value of his company got wiped off, but he's still got lots of money, so he doesn't really care.
Yeah, exactly. See, he's not really impacted by it. Unlike Spider-Man would be trying to struggle to pay rent and dealing with tariffs, which are attacks on the working class. Okay.
Yeah. We don't have a smart president, do we?
Sure don't.
Bruce Wayne for president. Bruce Wayne 2028.
Well, I mean, what's he done for Gotham? Like,
I've filled up the asylum with people that probably could have been dealt with in other ways.
So you want to do that all across America?
Everyone's scared of me in Gotham. Does that help?
You want a president we're scared of? We already have that.
Well, no, wait. Bruce Wayne's not Batman. Oh my God, I am in so much trouble.
This guy.
Yeah, I do enjoy the Marvel movies. All right, Brucey boy. I do enjoy your little fancy movies. But you're never going to touch just the pure, iconicness of DC. If you think of superhero, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? It's that
Spider-Man.
Blue and he's down there. It's the white, blue, and red, all American from another planet, being an immigrant. Actually, Superman. Who do you think of as the one who has to fight against all the odds, that has no power? Me. I am the iconic one. Who do you think of as the main female superhero? It's Wonder Woman. Who brings up the intelligence and the young? And it's Flash. We have. If Avengers went against Justice League, wouldn't even be a fight.
I think it was a fight in the 90s crossover comics. There was a pretty good fight, and they didn't. No one actually won that battle. They ended up kind of fusing in a really weird, bizarre, fun way with the Amalgam comics.
Yeah, the Amalgam comics were a lot of fun.
They were cool. Yeah, that Batman Wolverine was sick.
Yeah, but if we actually fought, I mean, I'll take out Tony Stark in like 5 seconds. I'll just hack into his suit. He's gone. We'll have Superman just fly you into space and chuck you away. No worries. You're dealt with. And then what are we left with? Some dude with a bow and arrow and some chick that can do backflips with a gun.
I think with all of our reality warping Avengers, really, like, by the time that we even started the fight, if we really went head to head, like, none of you guys would even have any powers before the battle. Like, you'd be like running around pooping your diapers and screaming and the Marvel heroes would probably take care of you because they have empathy and they want to make sure that you're all right and they're human.
So are you saying that to win a war, you would turn all the Justice League into babies?
To save the multiverse, I'm willing to do damn near anything.
So are you saying that I could have a mommy?
We could bring your mom back. I could, with a snap of my fingers.
Martha!
Man.
Martha! Mommy! I miss your mommy.
Oh my God.
Mom.
Who has the most challenging villains?
Wow.
It's easy to be a superhero if your villains are easy to destroy.
Me personally, I've got a clown with mental health issues.
Oh, that sounds rough.
Yeah, I know it's tough. We're
Is he,
kind of
like, strong?
codependent as well. We exist together, and I need him a bit, and he needs me. But
Oh, that sounds kind of toxic.
yeah, it is. It's very codependent.
Yeah.
He's actually a nice guy if you get to talk to him one-to-one. He's But who have you got? What's your villain?
I mean, we have Dr. Doom, like literally the epitome of supervillainy. His name's literally Dr. Doom, and he's like the most iconic supervillain of all time.
Bit on the nose, is it not?
It is, but also, why not?
So, you think Doctor Doom could beat Lex?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a wizard and a technological savant. I mean, he any day he'd have Lex begging him to grow his hair back for him.
Poor Lex, no hair.
Poor Lex. Yeah.
That's just. I mean, he did tell me that that's the main reason he does this is because he's mad that he can't grow hair. He's just a bit triggered, yeah. But well, we've got supervillains like Brainiac, you can absorb entire the data of entire worlds, leaving nothing behind.
I think I don't. Doom versus Brainiac would be a fun one, but I think Doom could figure it out. Doom always figures it out, you know. Like he's kind of like you in that way that he always has a plan. He's always got I mean, you know, like he's actually a lot like you in a lot of ways, which is interesting that our greatest villain is so close to your greatest hero.
Well, that just shows that we're more nuanced. We don't have to be necessarily good guys to be the hero.
So you just be villains?
Well, if we look at Lobo, Lobo's a good character study here because Lobo has helped Superman and the Justice League fight off alien invasions from other galaxies and all sorts. But at the same time, he did kill everyone on his planet because he thought they were all idiots.
We have Deadpool who kills our universe once in a while.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun when he does it, though. Entertaining. We love our fourth wall breaking. Do you guys have any fourth wall breaking characters like Deadpool or She-Hulk?
No, we don't need that because we exist in the minds of everyone anyway. So we don't need to have someone to directly talk to the character, the cat like that. We're a bit more highbrow than Marvel. Just saying. Yeah, Marvel has to use those. We don't know how to break this story, so let's just break the fourth wall. Nah, we're more nuanced and we.
Well, I mean, I'll give you the She-Hulk ending. Definitely was like that, where they're like, "Oh, we don't know how to tie this all together, so we're just gonna have her crawl across the Disney Plus screen," which was, I mean, it was funny, but it was a bit much.
Wow. You know what? What I've realized here today is that Marvel's great, actually. Marvel's really, really brilliant. Not a touch on DC, obviously. But Marvel's great. And comic books are for everyone. Marvel, DC, IDW. Nerds unite across the world.
Now, that is a message that the Hulk can get behind. All right. I agree. DC, despite all of your flaws, your many flaws, major flaws too. They're still great, still iconic, still valuable.
Yeah. Just you got the Gamma satellite ready?
Get out of my swamp.
I'm going to give you 5 seconds to retract what you just said. Yeah, you know what? Just fire.
You're gonna kill this creature. This donkey.
What do you mean you fired? Nothing happened. Well, who did you shoot? What do you mean a children's hospital?
Oof.
Oh,
see,
shit.
Classic Batman.
2 seconds. Clark, yeah, I did it again. Yeah, computer, do me a favor and just go around the world a couple of times in reverse time. Thanks. Yeah, I know. Thanks. Sorry, Clark. It's all good. Don't worry.
Who would make the best duo on either
Batman
side?
and the Hulk. Obviously.
Batman and the Hulk would be interesting. So we take someone from Marvel and someone from DC. We're going to want, I think, I think the wizards from both. Take like I've forgotten the name of the doctor.
Doctor Strange?
No, my doctor. You got
Oh.
Doctor Strange, and I've got Doctor, and I cannot remember the helmet guy.
Guy, he's got plans to kill them all, but he doesn't even remember their first names.
Well, I don't need their names. I just need to know what the button is.
Fair enough. If you can find it, you gotta be able to index it. I mean, you might need some like fast hashing algorithms. Which I
Doctor
can
Fate.
probably help
That's
you
who I
with.
meant. Thank you, chat.
Dr. Fate. There you go.
Doctor Fate and Doctor Strange. I think they'd make a good duo together. Different magic from each side. Be a good fight.
Yeah, we also have Magneto. No one's even mentioned. We haven't even mentioned Magneto. Again, like Magneto and Killmonger, these characters who are born out of a lack of civil rights. Out of mistreatment that they have handled in more complex ways. Like they're not just villains. They're
you should just
Killmonger's
just use his powers to start like an empire of having houses to sell. Just by telling people to get out.
What? Why would Killmonger? I'm sorry. I'm not following.
Houses is like, I want this house now, and people get out and give him the house. So he could just go and get a bunch of houses and use his powers to just make money.
Hey, how did the Waynes get their money?
Shh, we don't talk about that.
Oh,
it certainly wasn't anything to do with like crime in the past of Gotham.
Probably some evictions of people who didn't really deserve to be evicted.
Don't ever look at the books at Wayne Enterprises, and you don't. It's a need to know type thing. Okay, just saying. How did Tony Stark make his money? Hey,
that's the message from DC. Don't look at the books. You heard it from Batman. Okay.
Tony Stark made his money from blowing people up with weapons.
Well, sometimes you need to blow shit up. All right, like once in a while, shit needs to be blown up. Not always, but. Hey, sometimes it's the move.
I mean, I do agree with that. I've got rockets, so that thing's got really big rockets.
Yeah, you understand, Bruce, Batman.
But I'm not Bruce Wayne.
I'm sorry. I was talking third person. I was talking to myself because I'm Bruce.
Yeah. Bruce is a good name. I wish I was called Bruce. Bruce is a really good name.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I am. I had a cat named Bruce when I was growing up. Actually, named after Bruce Springsteen.
Cute Brucey baby.
Yeah.
Who has the best romance, the best couple? Like Spider-Man and Mary Jane. You've got
Cyclops and Jean Grey.
Superman and Lois Lane.
Yeah.
And Superman and Wonder Woman.
Batman and well, I'm alone. But Bruce Wayne. I hear Bruce Wayne's good with the ladies.
I'm sure he is. So is Tony Stark, no doubt.
Yeah, but Tony Stark's an alcoholic, so he probably shouldn't be out dating. He should be dealing with that.
He should be, yeah. Well, he's working on it. Okay, he's working for drama. We all are.
I think Superman and Lois Lane is probably the most iconic superhero comic book romance that there is.
I don't know. Spider-Man, Mary Jane would come pretty close, but I mean, there's definitely. Someone said Harley and Ivy. That's true. Yeah, Harley and Ivy as well. That's a good one.
Doesn't Spider-Man get with another girl though? It's not always about Mary Jane.
Well, once in a while. Yeah, I mean, shit happens, But I mean, at the end of the day, like he knows that Mary Jane's is one true love. Like, and they'll work it out in some universe somewhere. They'll be together. It's okay.
I mean. Love in your universe actually caused a bunch of problems with, Thanos being obsessed with Lady Death, which is in the comics the reason why he wiped out half the universe.
Well, like I said, I mean, Marvel reflects humanity. Love causes all sorts of problems in our real world. Like wars have been started over the longing that comes from missing a loved one or wanting someone. What you're saying is Marvel refuses to learn from their mistakes. No, they channel the mistakes and let us learn from them. We're here to learn from those comics, from those stories. That's why characters like me deal with our anger on the page, so that characters like the viewers here can deal with those struggles in the real world.
Sorry, 1 sec. Yeah, one out. Well, they caught Robin. Oh, he's dead? With a crowbar, you say?
Ooh.
And then an exploding building. I'll tell you what, could you just go to the orphanage and just pick up another kid? We can give them some basic combat training later on. Right, no worries. Catch you there. Bye.
This is the guy who definitely supports the recently changed child labor laws in Florida. All right.
Child labor laws?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are they?
What about the best sidekick?
Well, I did have one until just now. I guess he's not very good, really, actually.
Rest in peace, kid. Yeah, I mean, you could say that Spider-Man is a sidekick to Tony Stark in a way, but that's, yeah. I mean, our characters, they can handle themselves more, I guess, and they don't need to hire children, orphans, and have them get needlessly slaughtered by clowns with crowbars
And exploding buildings.
or exploding buildings.
Yeah.
And why not give him like super soldier serum or something?
Oh yeah, just inject drugs into the kids. That sounds great.
Well, sometimes kids need drugs. So I mean, like there are kids with ADHD who would
Hey,
be
listen,
better
the message
with
Marvel
Ritalin
wants
or
to give:
Adderall.
kids take drugs.
Sometimes, so I mean, like, would you say no drugs for a kid that had cancer?
Well, that's different. I just fund it with Wayne Enterprise. I mean, Bruce would fund it with Wayne Enterprise. Oh my God,
Would he?
I'm so
Hello, puppy.
yeah, but we've got good sidekicks. The most iconics they got, Kid Flash, and Robin, and basically kid versions of
Kid Flash, Aqua Lad.
characters.
We have like Hulkling and other Hulks that are like we have completely characters that survive just as well on their own in their own stories. Oh man, I actually we don't have a lot of really iconic sidekicks. I mean, Bucky Barnes was kind of Cap's sidekick, and he's carrying his own movie right now. Apparently one of the best Marvel movies in years. I haven't gotten to see it yet, but I hear Thunderbolts is really fucking good. And Bucky's
Dude, go and see Thunderbolts. I've got a private studio. I own a whole cinema. I mean, Bruce Wayne owns a whole chain of cinemas, and he lets Batman in for free.
Yeah, and we have Falcon too, who was a sidekick and is now Captain America.
Oh, your Captain America doesn't even have any powers.
Yeah, but he still beat the Red Hulk, which I guess
True.
is kind of damning to me. But
Look, I just think DC would win, and you can't convince me otherwise because, well, I'm Batman.
Well, there you go. I mean, his feelings, my facts. Take what you will.
What about the best? What about the best origin story?
Well, I watched my parents get killed in an alleyway and then fell into a cave full of bats.
I was a scientist working on important science, trying to help people, and unfortunately, I was exposed to way too much gamma radiation, and now I've had to struggle with the results of that. But I mean, it happens.
Wayne Enterprises, those kind of issues would never happen. We've got strict security things in place. I mean, Bruce Wayne told me about them anyway. I know nothing about Wayne Enterprises inner workings, of course.
Well, shouldn't you? I mean, they're a pretty big player in Gotham City, which is your hometown.
Oh, I know all about them. I mean, shut up. Shh.
This guy's a little batty, huh?
Too many late nights for this one. Here's what we'll do. I'm going to go ahead and drop the open panel link to let people start filing backstage. But while we're doing that, and before we get into closing statements, I want you to imagine something. We're at the universal depths of hell. Like the entire universe is going to completely capsize. Everybody's going under, and we have both teams heading in to save the planet, the universe, the everything. Who is going to have the most kills, and who is going to be the one to take out the ultimate villain?
I think I have an answer,
Individually
but you want to
or
start?
as a team?
I'd say individually. Like, which one person is going to be the one that takes it all? Like
Superman.
that final shot, that final kick, that final whatever. Who's
It's
going to be
gonna
the
be
one
it's
to
gonna
do it?
be Clark Kent, not Clark Kent. His name's not Clark. It's gonna be Superman. Superman. He's the powerful one. You saw what he did to Stephen Wolf. Just poof, uppercut. End of story.
Well, see, we've had this kind of thing happen. We've had multiple Secret Wars where all of our heroes, all of our villains get thrown into a battle world, and they have to kind of fight for dominance. And at the end of the day, it was the Molecule Man who rewrote reality because Dr. Doom admitted that Reed Richards could have done it better, you know? And there we go. We got a whole new universe based off of that. And I think that, you know, however strong Superman is, he can't he can't out punch his own reality being rewritten around him. It's just simply, he doesn't have
actually,
that superpower.
Superman Prime can. He punched the multiverse to death.
That is pretty cool. But I thought you guys didn't have fourth wall breaks. Would that be a fourth wall break?
Well, there's an omniverse outside of the multiverse.
Is he not strong enough to break that wall?
I don't know. Maybe. Stop asking me questions I can't answer.
Same.
I think
who would
Superman
be
the one. Yeah.
who would be the one or the several that would be the sacrificial, the ones who die in vain to get
Robin.
that final person? Robin's already dead.
Yeah, I'll get another one and he'll die again. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what
Smith.
I'd say is some of you may die, and that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
DC is it has characters that are willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. Wonder Woman has jumped outside of time and space to save everybody else before removing her from existence. I think DC are more willing to make the sacrifices because they're more iconic.
It's interesting. The explanation for why they make the sacrifices is because of their iconic status. Tony Stark, when he made the ultimate sacrifice in Avengers Endgame to end his own life to defeat Thanos and his army, he wasn't doing it because he was Iron Man. You know, he says I'm Iron Man, but like what he's speaking to is his own character arc, his evolution as a human who learned from a decade of experience of conflict and friendship and love and all these things and raising a child. And he reflected on all of this, and that's why he decided to take the sacrifice himself to save the multiverse or the universe in this case, and ultimately probably the multiverse. But again, it wasn't because he's Iron Man. That doing so is what made him Iron Man.
A drunk. Yeah, cool. Just point out his problems.
All right.
You guys crack me up. I feel like there's, with DC and Marvel, for every 1 point over here, you're gonna have another point over there, and it's beautiful how it works out. All right, well, let's go ahead. Do your closing statements. I've got a few people backstage already. If anybody else wants to hop backstage and join open panel, we'll go into just an open discussion. However, I don't expect it to get too crazy, or at least I hope not. But yeah, we'll get there. All right, Ryan, go ahead with your closing statement, my dear.
Sure. So this has been a blast, and honestly, it is a privilege debating a topic I care about with someone I have a lot of respect for, or at least a stand-in for Craig, because Craig and I don't just argue about superheroes. We care about challenging bad ideas and helping people think more critically, and that's why I'm happy to be here with a stand-in for him. And that's why we both go to war against, well, he goes against flat earthers and I go against more cultural war values. But thank you for showing up, Batman. But I think I'm still going to take away the cape tonight, because here's the thing. DC builds gods, Marvel builds people. And in a world that feels more chaotic and confusing by the day, people are what we need. You don't see yourself in a pantheon. You see yourself in Peter Parker apologizing to Aunt May, in Kamala Khan trying to navigate identity, culture, and power, in Bruce Banner, yeah, me, stop calling me Shrek, learning how to live with his rage instead of being consumed by it. You see yourself in the X-Men fighting not just for justice, but for recognition. They never stopped evolving because the world they reflect keeps changing too. And sure, Marvel characters do have insane powers, some of them cosmic, but they stay grounded, they stay messy, they stay human. Batman says DC is about aspiration, and sure, there's something majestic about Superman hovering in the sky like a god, but I don't want to be saved from above. I want heroes who stand beside me, who fall, get back up, and keep going, not because they're perfect, but because they choose to fight anyway. So yeah, Marvel wins the crossover war because it has the tools, the characters, and the storytelling muscle to go toe-to-toe with anything DC throws at them. And Marvel wins the culture war because it never lost sight of the fact that stories aren't about being above humanity, they're about helping us understand it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Smash responsibly.
Thank you, Ryan. And to you, Mr. Batman, not Bruce Wayne, and not Craig McNeil.
The world doesn't need more flashy suits or snappy one-liners. It needs resolve, discipline, and justice. I've watched their world, Marvel's. I've seen gods pretending to be men, men pretending to be gods, and too many people mistaking noise for power. They celebrate chaos. We embrace order. They fight for fame. We fight because somebody has to. We don't need a multiverse of variants to be iconic. We don't need to reboot every 5 years to stay relevant. We are myth. We are legend. We are DC. And if it ever came to war, I've already planned for it. And we've already won. Because I'm Batman.
And I ran a poll, gentlemen. I ran a poll of who would win in a crossover, DC, Marvel, or Tomato. And as the poll currently stands, it is 40% for Tomato, 35% for DC, and 24% for Marvel. So I win. You all suck. I'm ending the poll now. All right. Well, let's kick off with a little open panel. I've got a few, what looks like new people backstage. So I'm super excited. I love getting new people around here. And one of my favorites, as always. Here we go. All right. And a kind reminder to all of you that tonight is meant to be kind of a fun night, as May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, and we will go right and nerd on together, but in a fun way this evening. I'm super excited. Oh my God, right? Ryan's ready. But yes, I'd love to have the conversation, the discussion, the topic, so on and so forth. And I do welcome you to introduce additional characters from other nerd central comics or like Star Wars, Star Trek, and all of those things are welcome. But yeah, I leave the panel open to all of you. Neo, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I was having trouble with my mixer earlier, so I'm glad that it's working. Yeah, no, this was a fun debate to listen to. It's better than, well, not better, but, you know, as opposed to how serious the debates here tend to get, it's kind of cool to just like nerd out once in a while and just talk about things that we all grew up with. I would say even the most hardcore debaters are also nerds at heart and know about all this stuff as well. Me personally, I love DC, but I believe that a lot of life lessons that I learned growing up, I got more from Marvel. Just their characters felt more real. DC always felt very grandiose, you know, like they were gods among men, right? That's always sort of been the whole the thing with DC. Marvel always tended to have more grounded, relatable characters, which you know, growing up as a poor inner city kid, I was always able to resonate with a little more. But I do have respect for both the fandoms. I will say DC does take the cake with animated movies, even though Marvel's really good with live action, but they kind of they're missing the mustard a little bit with animated movies, which DC has picked up the slack. If DC were to just take some of these animated movies and make them into live action, I think that they would definitely give Marvel a run for their money.
Oh, James Gunn's working on it, I'm sure.
Yeah, possibly.
I've given him a lot of money. I mean, Bruce Wayne's given him a lot of money to help.
Well, Spider-Verse
I mean,
definitely is a pretty good example of Marvel animation. But I agree, like long-term, DC's had just fantastic animated stories that Marvel hasn't really met.
Unfortunately, though, the Spider-Verse has also been an example of how bad the coordination and everything is at Disney and Marvel with their animators, because there's been massive fights and people being fired. And you know, someone that worked on so much of it was fired, and then they couldn't use his work, and they had to delay it again and again. And there's issues with being owned by Disney.
I think most of the issues that Marvel and DC tend to have when it comes to live action are the rights. You know, because for a long time, Marvel had the rights between Fox and Sony, so they didn't have the intellectual property to make certain characters. I believe the Infinity Saga, for example, you know, you would have seen the Fantastic Four, you would have seen the X-Men. And those crossovers had the rights to those characters, but now you have Sony trying to make movies with like Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery, and it just never really works because a lot of the times, in order for those villains to work, you need Spider-Man. You know what I mean? And it just doesn't work out ultimately. And then on DC's end, you know, I think Batman. I'm sorry, Batman. No offense, but Batman is a bit of a crutch for DC, and they tend to rely on him for too much. You have other characters who are proven, like Constantine was a good one when they started using him in the animated movies. He proved to be a pretty popular character. You know, Batman and Superman are always the ones that they kind of go to, and they have a plethora of different characters that if they gave the time to, you know, you could make them into like household names, sort of the way James Gunn did with Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, nobody knew who the hell they were, nor did they care until he made you care about them. So it's the way that they're often represented in media and in comics are going to often dictate how people are going to see them long term. And DC is just not represented that well because they tend to rely on the same people.
Marvel is very good at bringing out new characters. Like you think when the MCU started, no one really knew who Iron Man was.
Yeah, you're right.
Iron Man movie, he's now one of the most iconic superheroes that there is. Obviously, not a patch on me. You know, he can for as much money as he wants and stuff, but he's never going to be Batman.
Well, I wanted to speak a little bit to the rights issue because I think it's a great point, and yeah, it would have been awesome to see the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man in earlier Marvel works. But I think what's exciting about the upcoming Marvel movies is that they've found a way to weave those rights issues into the canon itself. Like Deadpool versus Wolverine, like really set the stage for this, and like so much of the plot of that movie and like the way the characters interacted was based specifically around the fact that they did come from different studios, that they were in the void, right? Because and there was like the 20th Century Fox things like living out there or sitting out there, and like they've kind of. I think that's what's really exciting about Secret Wars, and like having Tony Stark being or Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom, as well as surely Tony Stark variants. It's very cool the way that they can take those real world problems and weave them into stories that inspire us.
Yeah, that is good. I will say Robert Downey Jr. Coming in as Doctor Doom is sort of a cop out in a way. I would have loved to have just seen somebody brand new represent that character and make him his own instead of just like weird variant multi-universal, form of Doctor Doom. There is a storyline where Doctor Doom and Tony Stark do swap bodies, and then that became like a thing for a while where Doctor Doom did actually become Iron Man, but that's not really what they're doing here. I think Marvel was just sort of desperate, and they were relying on the star power of Robert Downey Jr. to bring them back into prominence. They did have a couple of stinkers. Everybody says that from like phase 3 and on, they kind of started losing the plot. But I think early Marvel, even phase 1 kind of had some stinkers as well. Like the first Thor movie was not great by any stretch of the imagination. The second Iron Man movie kind of like sucked balls. You know what I mean? They had a few stinkers, but sort of found their way when they created the Avengers. And that's what showed that you could bring all these movies together and create something wonderful from them. I don't know. Anybody else? Sarah, I made it. I came back.
I see that.
I'm a bit of a nerd. It's easy for me to talk about this stuff.
I know. I opened the floor. Rubik's, Angry Beaver, RK, Anonymous.
All right. I just had a question for Ryan real quick. So, Ryan, you said you were a nerd, and you're trying to say that Donald Trump is Kingpin. How do you explain that when Kingpin was in production 5 years before Donald Trump even took the business?
You mean, well, I mean, Trump was president before this current term, right?
Kingpin was written in 1967. He first released. He was in production by 1965. How is he Donald Trump?
So I'm talking about Born Again specifically, and his arc in Born Again, and the way that he, like, the parallels to his rise.
That's not how it worked, though. That really isn't.
I'm not saying that. I mean, well, he's a.
You specifically had stated he is Donald Trump.
Okay, well, he's not literally. His name is not Donald Trump. It's Wilson Fisk, so he's not literally Donald Trump. You're right, but like his character is a parallel in Daredevil: Born Again, specifically as his rise to mayor.
He's always been rich kingpin of crime. He's never been a businessman until after he became big in crime, and he needed to wash his money. So you're equating Donald Trump to being a thug?
Well, I mean, yeah, Donald Trump has a long history of criminal activity. Absolutely.
But you're saying that he has contemplated murder. He has had people unalived, and all of this other stuff. You're saying Trump had you can prove
Who was president
Trump
when Epstein died? Who was president when Epstein died?
That means nothing.
Off the rails.
It's a little.
No,
sus.
I was just trying to figure out why he was trying to say that Donald Trump is Kingpin when Kingpin was around long before Trump. That's what I was trying to figure out.
Specifically means the new arc in the new series is very similar and a parallel, very purposefully done to represent Donald Trump.
Like, I don't really think that's true, to be honest, because that storyline that they're doing in Daredevil: Born Again was a story from the comics long before Trump was ever president, even on his first term. I think they just copied the same story, and you might have some similarities, but I don't really see them trying to make it out to be that he is Trump, because again, once more, that story just came out like a billion years ago, so it's not even really something where I would really make a comparison.
I feel like there were a lot of notes in the show in Daredevil: Born Again that were like almost too on the nose. It made it like too obvious that they were trying to parallel Donald Trump. Like it was.
Well, they might have thrown a couple. Yeah. They might have thrown a couple in there, but for it to straight up be like a representation of Trump, I don't really think that's the case, to be honest. He's always been this evil business criminal tycoon. Like that's always been his character.
Just like Trump. Yeah, just like Trump. That's what's great. That's why it works so well. He's always been a criminal.
Let me read a few.
Yeah, but how is he evil though?
Oh, okay.
Is he evil? I mean, he's destroying.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just a certain notion to tie it to a villain, like a fictional villain, to a person that actually. I don't understand this Trump hate. Like, if you don't like him because how he pronounced things or how he approaches things, that's fine. But that's a big stretch, That's like. Why I still have a hard time understanding by hardcore leftists why they keep doing this BS.
Well, I can explain it to you. I mean, because my issues with Trump have nothing to do with pronunciation. Like right now, my biggest issue with Trump is he's defying a Supreme Court order that ordered the facilitation of the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was illegally deported, and this was written out word for word in a 9-0 Supreme Court ruling. So I mean, it's like this. I care about the Constitution of America. I'm an American. I live here. I care about due process and our laws because I benefit from them, and I like my life, and I want to continue living that life and not worry about being thrown into
well, I hope you carry that same energy when you're holding Biden accountable over the same accusations, because Biden was worse. Obama was worse. And I never hear anybody from the left talk about, like, Trump, Biden, Obama were just that. No, it's always tied with Trump. No one ever gave a shit about anything until 2016. Like, this is ridiculous. Stop doing that.
He never defied a Supreme Court order.
Stop falling to the rabbit hole.
It didn't happen.
Stop it.
Let me read a few of these real quick. And for the record, backstage, I have Daniel Romano dressed up in Power Rangers, of course, and Brick Jonesy. Are you dressed up, Brick? Yeah,
he always looks like white trash.
He's got a Superman costume on. So they're hanging out backstage, waiting for you to know what to do. Jack Fetter with a big 10 says, "Yeah, computer super geek here, but this is even too nerdy for me. $10 to the host for being super nerdy hot, but nope." JSST with the big 5 says, "I sure hope my super chats haven't gone to building a bat cave, Craig."
Don't know what you're talking about.
Tim Davidson says, "DC has the soul, Marvel has the heart. Fight me."
All right, Tim, bring it on.
JSST says, "Hey, Batman, why didn't Superman beat the F out of you in Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Shit?"
Because our moms had the same name. Martha!
Yeah, that's not a glaring problem.
Fair enough. Lord Illuminous Pooh says, "In brightest day or darkest night, it's not my problem. I'll be all right. No cause you name is worth the fight. But if I'm bored, then yeah, I might. Gray lanterns of apathy."
Well, the Grey Lanterns could be a thing at the moment with the fractal lanterns all appearing. It's causing havoc across the DC universe.
And Pooh follows up to say, "What about the people that were in airplanes when they were snapped, falling to their deaths?"
I know, they would have returned exactly to that point in the sky.
I think that we would have heard about that if it was happening, and I think it's safe to say that when I snapped my fingers, I made sure that those people were not falling to their deaths because, I mean, I had the Infinity Stones on my hand, and I wasn't going to let a bunch of people die or, like, emerge right back into each other and be fused in all sorts of chaotic, disgusting ways. Like, I'm a genius and a Hulk, okay?
That's a plot hole. I'm sorry. They all died. Again.
They all died.
Right.
Jack Fetter says, "Whose idea was this? Other than some super erect nerds out there in their mom's basements, this even seems beyond extreme for us usual YouTube freaks. This was all my idea. I wanted the May 4th thing to be something extra fun, nerd central. But yeah, I'm happy." JSST says, "Why does Batman sound like McGruff the crime dog?"
What about this in my voice? I've got a great Batman voice.
Otto says, "Big ups to the Care Bears." Pooh says, "American made the most patriotic domestic." I don't know what that refers to. General E. Shady says, "An F1 car, seriously, Green Lantern, Blake, though."
Yeah. All right, that wasn't a great movie. Okay? I know. I'm going to make a car as my first thing. Woo! Yeah.
Have you been doing that voice for an hour and a half?
Yes, he has. He's gonna have no voice tomorrow. Pooh says DC equals ditch continuity. Marvel equals Marvel at the reboot.
I like that.
Rubik's is on screen this evening. Marvel has Flatman. Power is he can be 2D, and a mutant who can explode once. Also take into account the fact that DC owns Vertigo Comics.
DC for the win.
DC for the win. Smokey Guru says, got a rep dog wielder, best DC character. Wields dogs to villains and people.
Yep. He literally welds dogs to people as his power.
I didn't even know that was Craig at first.
Somebody else asked if it was Taper.
That was me. I thought it was Taper.
Yeah. And I could see where you got that, but Taper would not be invited to something like this. Pooh says Gotham has a horrible crime rate, but an incredible education system. 90% of its villains are doctors.
Yeah.
That's a compelling
I'm really
point.
mad.
Yeah, at least you're funding the schools. I appreciate that. But I mean, somehow they're still ending up in a school to prison pipeline. So
Most of the supervillains in comics are doctors. They all have some sort of degree. All the smartest people, they all went insane.
They're all liberals.
Sarah?
Yes.
Sarah, can I ask a question?
Hold on, let me finish. I got just a
Okay,
few more super chats to get through. Naomi sends with the big 5. For fuck's sake, I love Sarah, so I'm here. Thank you, Naomi. Horses in the chat for Naomi, please. JSST says Aunt May would beat up Martha Kent. Marvel rules.
You leave Martha alone.
Zoomy says, how could you forget Red Tool? Fourth wall shattered.
Oh, yeah, of course. We got Red Tool. Does break the fourth wall.
E Shady says Martha and Aunt May were secret lovers. Duh.
that's the wow.
E Shady says Wonder Woman wanted bad guy. Abomination was framed. Pooh says, greetings, small child. You wear the vibrant green, reds, and yellows and attract their fire, while I wear the dark grays and black and sleek into the shadows.
There's a reason for everything.
I can see that. D says Iron Man 2 is underrated. Avengers 1 is overrated.
All right. Wait. I got to respond to that because I mean, Iron Man 2 is good, but it suffers from its own weight. Like it's just over and over. It's like got Captain America's shield, Black Widow, all this stuff, and it's just saying like, hey guys, there's an Avengers movie coming. Did you know there's an Avengers movie coming? And like the movie itself gets dragged down by that. But I mean, there's an argument to be made.
Fair. And Jack says, final one, please, no MAGA Trump derp. Don't ruin my entertainment too. Just go focus on annexing Canada or invading Greenland. Damn troll.
But see, the funny thing is I'm not trolling. I actually have a list of points for both of them I can go over, and that was just one of them.
Well, yeah, let's not, because this is just a fun thing.
This is
okay?
That's why I
fun
came up with
night.
getting to like
Sarah?
politics, and usually this stuff isn't as
No, that was the only one to do with politics because I didn't like the way he had stated it, and that's what
Well,
I
you could have
commented
just
on.
kept it to yourself because this
But
is.
I have lots of
I
points
mean,
about
I
everything
will
else.
say, Angry Beaver, this is a fun night. Let's not throw politics into it this evening.
And
I
don't
let
ruin
you-
my
Like I
favorite
said, I
cartoon.
wasn't going
Don't ruin
to,
my
until,
favorite
but I
cartoon.
just wanted the clarification on his statement. That's
well,
but
we could
none of
set
my
up
other points
another
have
night
anything
for
to do
that.
with politics. It's all about DC and Marvel.
Osron,
in
are
his
you still
defense-
with us? Go ahead.
Sorry,
ahead, Ryan.
real quick. In his defense, like, I mean, I weaved politics into my conversation because, I mean, we're also talking about culture and the political implications of media. I think are relevant in this in this conversation. But I also I don't want it to turn into here's why Trump's defying the Supreme Court debate. So yeah, I hear you.
Fair enough. I'm
There's
just
nothing
was
Marvel
bringing
or
up.
DC though. So, like, do you get that people watch this stuff and read this stuff? to
Which
get
one do you
away
think
from that
Trump would
stuff?
think is better?
Sorry, Daniel, that was an interesting point. You said people read this stuff to get away from politics. I agree, but
Yeah.
a lot of people do, but a lot of people also read this stuff because of their experience under political. So when we talk about the X-Men being like an analogy for a lot of groups that have been oppressed over history, like those people find a lot of solidarity in reading those comics. So they're not reading it because they're not reading it because they're like super like passionate about politics. They're reading it because their experiences are reflected on the page, you know, and that's what I'm trying to get at.
You can reflect, but that's not what it's about. It's escapism. Even what I'm doing now, this is escape.
Yeah, it's why
There's no, like-
not for everyone in the same way.
How do you know that? Who do you know that reads comic books for that reason?
Me.
Who, me?
Escapism?
Coder, yeah, Ryan.
The reason we read comic books as kids was to escape from the hell of life.
What is Brick?
I feel like characters like Spider-Man and like these are characters that are relatable for a reason. Like they deal with real things that people deal with, and like you can see yourself as like if you're a young teenage boy reading Spider-Man, you probably are inserting yourself as Peter
Because
Parker.
you're throwing handfuls of white goop around.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, for the most on-the-nose metaphor, yeah, for sure. But I mean, do you deny that people identify with Spider-Man when they're reading him? Like, I feel like one of the reasons that he's so popular is because he's such a fantastic insert.
Well, not
He was
only
my
that,
favorite growing up.
Spider-Man has had such a wide variety of backgrounds and origins too that it does have a little bit of everything for everyone.
And Geeky with the big 5 says, here's a contribution to Batman's LASIK surgery fund so he can ditch those ill-fitting spectacles.
These are my black specs.
That is the thing about Batman. Like, everything's a Batmobile, a Bat this, a Bat that.
Yeah, in Batman Forever, he had a Bat credit card.
Well, he doesn't have to remember what to call anything. He just adds bat to the front of it, and he's good.
Yeah.
Where's my bat thingy at? Bat this, bat that.
He also
what
has
is
bad
Brick?
nipples on his costume.
Brick, what are
I got
you?
some for May the 4th, too.
What are you, Bricky? Oh, he's Superman.
Oh, Superman's pet werewolf.
Oh,
Nah, Superman from Phantom of the Opera.
With your grandma's knit beanie and an eye pet covering.
yeah, what's the eye thing?
It's like a Superman / Lobo hybrid.
Oh.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty accurate.
I actually don't know what any of this stuff is really.
That's okay. Rubik's, what did you want to add in?
I was gonna say that Stan Lee exists in the Marvel universe.
Well, Stan Lee exists in the DC universe, doesn't he?
Stan Lee makes cameo appearances in DC in a DC film.
Yeah. So Stan Lee is canon in DC, which is
correct.
Stan Lee.
Wait, Stan Lee appeared in one of the movies in a DC movie?
Yeah, he's in a Teen Titans Go to the Movies. He has a cameo in it.
Oh snap! I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So does that mean Marvel's superior?
It's also addressed why he's in the fact that he's in a DC, not a Marvel movie, as a cameo as well. It's addressed.
Got it.
Stan Lee can cameo on whatever he
Well,
wants
it's
to.
canon that he does have powers.
Yeah.
Stan Lee is not regular. He has powers. He can erase anything in reality whenever he wants.
Well,
he doesn't want it there. He just makes it disappear.
Yeah,
So-
Stan Lee was supposed to be like the one above all, right? Or that was like his character insert.
Yeah.
So he's like he's like Marvel God basically.
Yeah, if he doesn't allow it, it stops being a thing.
I mean, that's
Like,
any author of anything.
Pardon?
That's any author of anything. They can just because it's convenient for the plot.
Yeah. That's the point of the one above all, isn't it? It's the one that can just change anything because they're the one that's writing the story.
Yes.
So who is everybody's like favorite character?
From
Whether it's DC or Marvel.
I love the Green Lantern Corps. I've always loved it. I'm a big space nerd, and it's like Green Lantern is comic book / sci-fi, and it's just perfect for me.
Well, you could probably you could probably guess mine.
Superman.
You like Superman?
Superman.
Superman is the boringest superhero of all.
Well, once
it's
you're
like
once you're
he's
Superman,
like invincible.
what else is there? What else is there? Like, I mean, there's nothing
Wolverine
else.
is better. Deadpool is better.
But he can kick your ass. So
Superman's got a lot of depth to him. You don't realize he's not
Superman
as boring.
loses to a bowl of chili.
And he's patriotic.
Yeah, but he's short-tempered though. He can lose his mind. That's where Batman has the edge on him. Batman has more of a fortitude mindset about things, and Superman, like, take for an example when he loses Lois Clark, like he breaks the forbidden rule by fucking with time by going, spinning the earth. Superman, like that, it just emotionally worst leader to put him. Batman even challenges Superman, tells him, "Hey man, you got to stop this, or else you're going to destroy everything." Like Superman, he's powerful, but he's not. I wouldn't trust him with anything outside of what he's supposed to be doing.
In the Injustice time, Joker plants a bomb inside of Lois Lane, and then uses the
inside of her
Joker gas to make Superman think that Lois Lane is Doomsday, and force Superman to kill Lois Lane and his unborn child. Drives Superman crazy, so he sticks his hand through the Joker's heart and then takes over the world.
Yeah, Superman is the most psychologically weak character, in my opinion. For as powerful as he is, he gets brainwashed by Poison Ivy like every other weekend. And then, to your point, Batman in the Injustice world, he kind of lost his marbles over that. It's like, oh, my Lois is dead now. I gotta enslave the whole world. He's like an iconic character, but he needs some real therapy. Like that dude, when you're that powerful, you definitely need to get your act together.
If that was the case, if it was the case that Superman all of a sudden needed some type of therapy, wouldn't it be the case that he would be psychopathic, right, or sociopathic?
No, that's not true.
Crazy.
You don't have to. You don't have to be a psychopath to get therapy. That's not true.
What do you need the therapy for?
Well, I mean,
he's neurotic.
Right.
I was getting ready to say that.
Yeah, if you lost someone you loved, right? Are you gonna enslave the entire world because of that?
Maybe if I can, actually.
Lock him up.
Let me just say, it's not my altruism that's preventing me.
We want therapy to avoid that.
And
the point about Superman's character,
susceptible to that.
But all right, so Superman's character, it always hasn't been about how strong he is or who he can beat and can't beat. It's always been the fact that because he's the most powerful, he has to find other ways to win that don't have anything to do with power. So when you write him into stories where he's like just psychologically broken all the time, it kind of does take from the resolve of his character a little bit. Now, granted, that's in an alternate universe, so he doesn't do that in the main universe. Mm-hmm. But in the main universe, like I said, he also gets brainwashed constantly. It's very easy to manipulate. Darkseid just has to diss him a couple of times so he loses it. I like Superman's character, but he loses it a lot.
Maybe it's because of his lack of interest in causing change that should already be happening.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be like an avatar of change. People are supposed to believe in who he is, right? He's a god that came down to Earth, basically, and he's supposed to be a representation of how much better we can be. That's always sort of been the crux of who he is. He's an Earthling. He was an alien, but he was also raised on Earth with in Kansas with human parents. So he's really an Earthling. He's not really an alien. His belief systems, his ideologies, everything that he believes have always taken place on Earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
But he has the power to make change.
Truth, justice, and the American way.
That's right.
Yeah, see the Christopher Reeves documentary? That was pretty good.
Yeah, I did enjoy that.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It shows how what I like about Superman is that the comics that he's in show how much he can be influenced by other people and where he is. So if you look at Red Sun, where instead of America, he landed in Russia and became this communist hero. And it does show that Superman is very suggestible. He lands in America, he becomes the pinnacle of the American way. But he lands in Russia, he becomes the hero of the Communist Party.
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What about the best soundtrack? And
Oh.
I'll go first on this one. The Guardians of the Galaxy, hands down, has the #1 best soundtrack on all of the videos. And I will fight somebody on that one.
I don't know.
I think
I'd have to
Elfman-
say the
Danny
theme
Elfman.
song for Batman Beyond.
I'd say
That one is
The
dope. too.
Batman Beyond theme song was fire.
Perfect.
I'd say Watchmen
Spider-Man
is
soundtrack
pretty
was
I
good.
do agree on Guardians of the Galaxy. Definitely agree on that.
Yeah,
But
Guardians
Watchmen
has a
soundtrack is
phenomenal.
amazing.
But
Yeah,
I
Guardians
think
has a
Danny
phenomenal
Elfman's
soundtrack.
Batman score was pretty good.
yeah. But what is the most iconic piece of music that it is in superhero? It is the Superman theme tune, right?
Yep, I was about
Oh,
to
it's the
say that.
Batman one. No. It's the Batman one, I think.
That's
think
John
Batman's
Williams.
Batman, Batman.
Danny Elfman. Do-do-do-do.
But I
Batman is kick-ass.
to-
I'll give him that.
Or
Yeah,
there's
I
the old
fucking
one,
have it right.
There's the old 80s Spider-Man song that always gets stuck in your head.
No, the best thing about Batman is he knows how to collect intel. That guy's resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously the Power Rangers theme is pretty great too. I mean, sorry, just
Power
had to
Rangers
throw that in
theme is-
there.
Well,
I
while we're
agree,
talking
Daniel.
about the expanded multiverse, I think there is a universe out there where Baby Driver is part of the multiverse because Edgar Wright was working on the Ant-Man movie before he moved on to direct Baby Driver, which is probably the closest competition for best soundtrack in a movie to Guardians of the Galaxy. But man, Baby Driver fans know what's up. I'm just gonna, if you know, you know. That's all I'm saying.
Generally, Shady makes a point. Ready Player One did have pretty much the best soundtrack ever. Ready Player One.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
great.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians.
Yeah,
of
anything
the
80s is good. Yeah.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy did pretty much have the best soundtrack, though.
So of all the Marvel films, I'll say Guardians of the Galaxy and the original Spider-Man trilogy are my favorites of Marvel.
Guardians of the Galaxy starts with a 10cc song, and it happens to be one of my top favorite songs. So yeah, and it just each song gets better, and you're just like, how did they know?
What do you think of Guardians of the Galaxy 2? Did you see that or 3?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all of them. I cried on the last one. I was like,
Me too.
I would say Spider-Man. Rach, you actually, I would agree, but I would say that the Spider-Man soundtrack one they did with Nickelback and Chris Cornell, that one has to be the most inspirational track that to offer on Marvel, because it makes you. I don't know about you guys, but it's inspirational. Like makes you like, oh damn, I can do shit.
That was post
What's it-
9/11. Well, people forget that was.
That's just on my Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
I work out with that.
Yeah, it's a great track.
In the Daredevil sound, was the Daredevil soundtrack that had the Evanescence song? Does anyone know what I'm thinking of? The Ben Affleck.
The Ben
one?
Affleck Daredevil
Bring me
one?
back to
Wake
life.
Me Up Inside.
Yeah. Oh man, that was a
Yeah,
banger too.
If you like the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, you would love the soundtrack to the game. It's fucking, oh my god,
That was a good game.
that was a goddamn good game.
What about who has the best like CGI and visuals?
I mean,
Marvel.
DC hasn't had a modern
Marvel.
movie
CGI, right?
in a long
Marvel.
time.
Hold on, we're all
Marvel.
going at once. Go ahead, Rubik's.
DC hasn't really had a major film since the early 2000s, so it's not a really fair comparison.
They tried.
They have
with
had
the
quite a
Flash,
few
but I
live
think
action
the CGI in the
films.
Flash was made by someone that didn't know how to do CGI.
Fair.
Yeah,
I'd say Marvel better CG. And so,
But it's an unfair comparison. Wait till the new Superman comes out to make that comparison.
Even to expand on that, what about like one movie? Like it doesn't even have to be between one or the other, but like which of all of the movies you've seen have had the best CGI?
Right. Well, if you want to compare it to the time that they've come out, if you look at the original Superman movies, for the time that they were made in, they looked incredible. The special effects they managed to pull off in those movies was ridiculous for the time.
Yeah.
There was nothing like it.
Yes.
I think Shrek
That's a hard
2
one, though.
has the best CGI.
For me,
Probably
I'd say-
Shrek 2. Shrek the Third might be another close contender.
I'd say Watchmen for me, but I mean, I rewatched that a lot too. It's one of my favorite films ever made. But I think just plus there was a lot of practical effects, and Zack Snyder did a lot of practical since he was recreating the 80s, and
And practical holds up better over time, generally.
Okay, I've got an idea. Which has the best live action TV series?
And before you answer that, our darling Bruce Wayne has to go fight crime and save lives. The bat signal has been flared up, and he needs to make his exit. Craig, would you like to make your final
the next
statement?
Robin is also dead. Gotham's been overrun. Asylum, the doors is open on the asylum, and Jim Gordon, he said, if you don't get back here, then I'm not allowed to work with the police anymore. So I'm gonna have to go. Thank you very much for having me on, guys. I very much appreciate it. I mean, I guess the safety of Gotham is secondary to appearing on this channel with you, Sarah. So
Yeah. Can I say,
Sumi, amazing to see you as always.
Yep.
All right, and I'll catch you all later. Bye bye.
Bye, Craig.
Have a good one, man. Take care.
Be good to Robin.
Yeah,
See, my favorite CGI for it would go to Marvel for the